Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Educators, Performers, Creators. My name is Paulino Brenner, and today we are talking about food and celebrations. What is your favorite food connected to what celebration? If you're watching live, you can share with us by leaving a comment on YouTube or send me a tweet, anything. You know how to contact me, but if you're watching on YouTube, the best way is just to leave a comment on this video, whether you're watching live or maybe you're watching the recording to savor all the wonderful food we're going to share today. I have two special guests, and we are all three of us. We are all Spanish teachers. So who knows? At some point, we might continue in Spanish, and that is okay. Don't panic. Listening to a foreign language is good. So don't worry about that. So here we have today José Antonio Maldonado. Hola, buenos días, o buenas tardes.
Hola, José. Buenas tardes. Okay, so my name is José Antonio Maldonado. Okay, so hi Paulino, hi Mary. I'm so glad to be here with you guys. Okay, and to talk about food and celebrations. Okay, so I'm from Cuba. Okay, and I'm currently living in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Okay, and today we're gonna have a very interesting chat on Cuban typical foods and typical Cuban celebrations, okay? Right? So I know that you will love it, right?
Okay, great. Thank you, Jose. And we have Mary Slider. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Paulino. It's so good to be here with you and Jose. Food is special to my heart, and through all my travels, I've eaten my way through the world, and I should weigh much more than I do, but I also like to cook great food, so it's great to share my passion with everyone.
Great. And Mary, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you teach, where, and just to make us all jealous, for us who are in the tundra of the Midwest, share where you are right now.
I am in beautiful, sunny San Diego at the ACTFL conference.
Yay! Shout out to all the attendees at ACTFL.
We have over 8,000 of us. It's very passionate about teaching language and their love of the languages that we teach and sharing that in this beautiful place along the ocean front. So I'm looking at the Pacific Ocean out my window and a few palm trees. And I know you're looking at snow, so I'm sorry. But I am a Spanish teacher. I teach in a high school in southern Illinois near Carbondale. My husband and I have moved around several places, and so I'm going to bring some of those places to you through the foods that I enjoyed. I do also teach art. So I think art and food go together, and the celebrations we have with our friends and family. So.
Perfect. So what are some of those places where you've been, and what has been your experience with food and celebrations on those places?
Food didn't become so important to me until I had to go get it every day. So probably my experience in Turkey and learning to live on the economy and learn Turkish by default. I had to teach myself. But if you want to eat something, you will learn the language. And they were wonderful cooks. They're so proud of their kitchens, and so fabulous, fabulous foods. But I was a teacher in an American school in Izmir, Turkey. And what I found in Turkey is, as you go to different regions, just like we do in any other country, the food changes. But always they were using what was on hand and what was fresh. So things that we would enjoy. I have a little bit of a Turkish board that you've pulled up here, the sigara börek, or the lamb dishes, kefta, which is ground meat, and it's usually put on a skewer. In fact, if we had a little too much to drink or danced a little too late in the evening, we often would go to kefta salons anyway, it ended up being translated to garbage. And you would eat these little chopped meats on pide salad, and you would eat that to kind of absorb the evening and whatever you had imbibed. But it's a beautiful country and so much fresh food. I learned to love fresh figs and dates, and it's just a richness of flavors. And the seasonings are wonderful. So in the evening when I come home from work, the smells as I got off the bus and would walk to my apartment were fabulous. So,
okay. So why don't you tell us a little more about the cigarra burek?
The cigarra burek is something I enjoy making for my friends. We start with Yuca or the very thin wrapper, like a wonton wrapper. You can use those kind of things, or a phyllo dough. And you butter, lots of butter and yogurt and cheese, a white cheese, a little bit of cooked spinach, a little salt and pepper, basically. Roll it up. It looks like a little cigar or cigarette. And you deep fry those and put them on a plate. So you have a big pile of these wonderful burek, which you pick up with your fingers and eat. We ate with our fingers quite a bit. Very exciting here at Actville, Rick Steves, who is a very famous tour guide here in the public television domain, made a comment that I thought was very true, because I realized in Turkey I ate so much with my hands, and you would put things inside of things to eat them. You know, it's not so much a knife and fork. Yeah, we did, but often it was what you could put inside a thin piece of bread or something, or a flat bread, and eat with your fingers. So that delight in eating with our hands.
Mm. And how about, what occasions would you use the cigarra burek? Like just a friend gathering, or?
Yeah. Oh no, we always had a meze, or an appetizers to start with, and unfortunately we would love the mezes so much we wouldn't get to the main course, which made some of the restaurant people mad at us. But we would eat so much in going out there to try the vegetables and the stuffed dolmas, what are stuffed vegetables, or stuffed grape leaves, or anything that was stuffed, because you could pick it up with your fingers and eat it. And so that's where we would always start with cheeses, a wonderful warm bread that came out of the oven just a minute before. We would go to what we called a pide salanu. Pide is a very thin bread, and they would cook it on an open fire, and that's what we would eat with. But always good beverages. We had something to drink that I didn't drink very much of, but it was more of a man's drink there. We called it raki, or lion's milk, or I suppose in the Greek culture, grappa. And they would add water to it. It would turn white. And so usually the father would be sitting at the table drinking his raki, and with a little water in it, so he'd be drinking his lion's milk. I brought a couple bottles back underneath my floorboards of my car when I drove back to Europe, and it was great for handing out to the movers to help make sure my goods would get into my house or my apartment.
Let me ask you about, because I have a sweet tooth, I'm gonna go and assume that this semolina is a dessert.
All the desserts. We had baklavaris, of course, the baklava. We would go and have our tea or coffee, a little Turkish coffee, and then cakes like this, and also baklava. And again, working with the phyllo dough and the nuts, of all the different nuts of the region, pistachios and pecans and whatever was available. But delicious sweets. Oh, the Turks have a wonderful sweet tooth, and they do know how to fix their desserts. One of my favorite desserts, we were talking about celebrations, was my first Thanksgiving. I'm in Istanbul, far, far from home. I'd never left the United States, and here I am in Istanbul, and well away from all my family and friends. They were so nice, and they cooked pumpkin in sugar water and honey, and to the point where it absorbed it, and it tasted exactly like pumpkin pie. I cried at the dinner table, because I was like, oh, here I am so far, and you're bringing this flavor to me that I celebrated back at home. So very nice. But you have put in some of the other dolmas that are there. I think some of the pictures that you're bringing up right now are of the dolmas, and anything stuffed. And so when I have friends over, I buy small peppers and I stuff them with things, and I'll cook them in a tomato sauce, or I'll cook the green beans in what I consider more of an Egyptian style, where you cook them in tomatoes and with the good seasoning. So that you have these wonderful variety of flavors, and I always serve fresh yogurt when I have family or friends over that I cook Turkish for. So always a dollop of fresh yogurt on the side. But
Here
there's
we
a
have
dolma.
a stuffed zucchini, which looks
Yes. With a mantar zucchini and dolma, it's a meat. But sometimes just stuffed with rice, so many vegetarian options. But often with the meat and the lamb, the wonderful, delicious lamb that we had so much of. So.
Perfect. So what were some of the celebrations that you, turkey celebrations that you experienced, and any foods that you remember from them?
We, of course, celebrated the New Year, and that we had special foods and just celebrations. Everybody went out after Christmas, or American Christmas time, and they'd all buy a Christmas tree, and they would put that up for the New Year, which was an unusual tradition. But then there would be the families getting together and serving the food and eating great platters in the restaurants together with their families and all the children. And so that was wonderful to see. The other thing is, of course, around Ramadan, or Ramazan as we called it in Turkey. They would have the morning call about 3 a.m. and I would wake up every morning at 3 a.m. all the month of Ramadan. But everybody would be busy cooking in the morning because you ate something before sunrise. And so you had to have your breakfast. What I didn't realize is they were still up from the night before, from what they had been eating at sunset. And the sunset party, when all the food kept going all night, and then you had something to eat, and then you started your day over. They did allow children and pregnant women and older people to always eat during the day. But for the most part, I felt respectful of that tradition, and we tried to avoid eating out in public anytime during Ramadan, and we would all go out to the restaurants, of course, because the food was so wonderful. My niece, who has traveled in Turkey several times, reminded me of the story. She said, I was always amazed that how busy all the shopkeepers were getting the food together, and all the trucks, the food trucks and so on, are preparing all the food, because as soon as the last call was for the sunset from the mosque, everybody went out and would get something to eat. So that was one of my favorite, is that celebration, that sense of family and food.
Great. And you mentioned that you had prepared the sigara börek. Are there any other traditional Turkey foods that you still can remember the recipe without looking it up?
I don't use that. My husband loves it, so I fix the rice, the pilaf, I make with pine nuts, of course, and currants, and a little bit of cinnamon, and it's just the preparation. If you follow a good Turkish recipe, there's steps to it, and you can follow that through. I still make the lamb dishes, köfte, the ground meat patties, and my husband loves those. There's a wonderful recipe called the Imam Fainted. And so the Imam, of course, from the mosque was so delighted with the woman's meal that he fainted in delight for the food. And it's a fabulous recipe to look up. And I do fix that. Yes, I fix Turkish recipes all the time, and especially shish kebab. And I do marinate the beef in a yogurt sauce, which is unusual. And I also do the hot southern-style Turkish on chicken that I put on the skewers, the kebab. So, yes, whenever I get a chance, I do a Turkish meal.
Perfect. And so besides your love for Turkish food, are there any other kinds of food from maybe other places or celebrations that you would like to share?
Yes, just a few. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. But
no, that's great. We love it.
I've been eating my way through Europe. One of the first things I did, and I got to Italy, of course, is I learned to ask for a coffee. It took me 10 minutes to hear it called and then see the person walk off with the coffee that I wanted. But I would listen and drink the great coffee from Italy. But I was up in Germany for 4 years, and so we did enjoy some of the Christmas German traditions of eating the hot potato pancakes with applesauce as you walk down the street, or getting a paper cone of French fries and mayonnaise on top, and walking with those, and seeing the Christkindl markets, of course, at Christmas time. My husband is correcting me, pommes frites. But with schnitzel, of course, my husband is off to the shoulder here, and he's giving me coaching. Anyway, we have a wonderful memory of Europe through our stomachs, unfortunately. And then the other place that we lived was Iceland. And the Icelandic fish, oh, it was incredible. I don't think I ever ate a bad meal in Iceland. My husband ate some of the more traditional foods, which, though there's a chimichurri sauce that just went by. I love chimichurri sauce. But one thing I did learn was to make a sauce for anything. So from Iceland, we made sauces for our fish, we made sauces for our lamb, we made sauces for everything. So I am a sauce queen, I suppose, and I can make those all the time. We had wonderful pan-fried fish and light seasoned sauces, which would make the fish just that much more glorious. It was delicious. But we also had some unusual things. We had whale meat. And I remember driving my car, and I had a friend in the car, and I'm behind a truck, and I'm thinking, man, this is interesting. These carpets rolled up, not realizing that they were whales in front of me, and they were going to the meat market to be butchered up. And oh my! But you know, those kind of experiences. But whale meat was considered a beef. It was considered a meat, not, and it was a mammal. So yes, that's appropriate. But it was more like a steak, served as a steak, again sauced. We had fresh scallops out of the sea. My friends would eat them directly out of the sea on some of the boat trips. We had massive pollock, which were like 3, and this, you know, just huge. And everybody would share. If somebody caught a pollock, everybody got fresh fish in the neighborhood. So that was delicious. And then the other thing my husband had one time was a delicacy. It was a putrid shark's fin, and they pickled the shark's fin, and it was supposed to be a manly thing to eat with a toothpick. So,
now you just mentioned about Germany and the Christmas fairs. That was actually my first experience going to Germany, and I went, I went to a few Christmas fairs, and it was a delight. It was, and not only the food, but all the arts and crafts, and I don't drink, and I don't know about your drinking habits, but there was a lot of drinking going around.
Oh, there were.
And I know we're talking about food, but do you know some of the traditional drinks that you can find at a traditional German fair?
Well, of course, there's the apple schnapps, and there was something hot, I think. Do you remember the hot drinks that we would always enjoy walking down the street again with? More often it was a German beer. We were very good at drinking German beer. And one of the places that I lived was near a cloister where they made supposedly the best beer in the world. And so I would get phone calls on Thursday evening. Mary, are you coming to Wiesbaden? You've got to bring a keg. And so I would throw a keg in the back of, I had a red pickup truck in Germany, amazing. And I would throw a keg in the back, and off I would go, and I would provide the party for the weekend. So.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I remember, I don't drink alcohol, so I remember having some hot cider, apple cider. But I remember people talking and drinking hot wine, which for me was the first.
Glühwein.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the Glühwein. It's very sweet, yeah, and make it with an inexpensive Burgundy and fruited, and it's like a ponche, from Mexico, but a little bit more potent. So.
Wow. Excellent. Yes, and I remember a very, very festive mood. I don't know if it was just the wine or near Christmas.
Many things.
Yes. Great. Well, Mary, thank you very much for all you have shared so far. I'm going to say it again. If anyone is watching live or watching the recording, feel free to leave a comment on this video for Mary, and anything she has comment, I'll make sure she got it and she can respond. But now we're going to move on to Jose. And Jose, tell us a little bit, what would you like to share with us today?
Okay, guys, are you ready for Cuban food today? Ready? Okay.
Are we ready? Are we ever ready? Well, we'll see. What is that Cuban food about?
Okay, listen. One of the most important celebrations for Cubans is New Year's Eve. Okay? We don't eat the whole year just waiting for this chance to eat everything in one sitting, right? So what is more important here is the family gathering. Okay, so we can have family members from everywhere. So we wait for this time of the year to come together and to have a family reunion. Okay, around food. Okay, okay, Paulino doesn't drink alcohol, but there is a lot of alcohol involved here as well in our celebration. So New Year's. So what you can see in this slide is Puerco Asado en Cuba. Some families, they even feed a pig the whole year, just waiting for the chance to have it roasted, right? And so this is a very particular way to roast the pork, you can see. So we have this road. So we put the pig and then we do it like this, okay? And we wait like 5 or 6 hours for this pork, right? So around this pork, we are drinking rum, we're drinking beer, we are dancing. It's a very happy atmosphere, okay? So everything is around this pork, right? So sometimes in December is cold, so that the heat that is provided by this cooking of a roast pork, so makes people to gather around the pork, right? So people is eating maybe sandwiches or light food, just waiting for the pork, right? And of course drinking rum. So, but then when pork is done, so we take it to a table, okay, and then we start to serve different type of foods. Okay, Paulino, could you please go to the next slide? So we have Arroz Congri here, okay, or Congri rice. So Mary, you can see that, and Paulino, black bean, right?
Oh, it is, yes, I've had this. It's delicious.
Yeah, it is, really it is. Okay, this is what we usually eat, but we can have white rice, but people like to cook this, okay? It's very typical in Cuba, so it's very simple to cook. You only need rice and beans, okay, and maybe onions, garlic, and a little bit of salt, okay? You cook it in a pot, and that's it, okay? It takes like 10 minutes to cook it, right? So we can use this rice, and could you please next? And this Yuca con Mojo, okay? So what is this? This is cassava with a very special sauce. This is a mix of garlic, onion, lemon juice, and salt. So you pour all this sauce over the cassava or the yuca that has been previously boiled and now is hot and soft, okay? And you can eat it together with the congri, okay? This is very delicate, so I really advise you to try it if you happen to find it in a Cuban restaurant. Okay?
Is that a sweet dish?
No,
the yuca?
No, it has a very neutral flavor, okay, and it's very soft to eat, and with a combination of a sauce, so it makes it, you know, very nice to eat. And so we have the tostones. So tostones are very famous in Cuban food, and we need to follow some steps in order to cook this. So we need to take the plantain, to peel it off, to cut into pieces, to fry then the pieces for the first time. Then we need to smash these fried pieces of a plantain, and then we fry it again. And then we can put some salt over the a fried plantain, and then you have this. It's very nice to eat. And so we have ensalada de aguacate. Okay, aguacate is, we call that in Cuba, but in Argentina they call it palta. Is right, Paulino?
Correct, yes.
So this is ensalada de palta or ensalada de aguacate and avocado salad. So it's the perfect combination for the fat that is coming with the pork, right? So it's a way to fight this fat. And then So are you fed up? No, but you still have to continue eating, okay? And then we have this dessert, okay? So, and it's a flan, it's a Cuban flan, okay? So after this, you can even drink a coffee, right? Just to finish with everything, and it's very delicious, as you can see here, okay? Then together with all this, we drink beer. So this is a very common plate. So you can see the cassava, the yuca, some of the avocado salad, the roast pork, and the congri. Okay. Mm-hmm. You wanna take a try with this? Wanna try it?
All together.
All together. Okay. So, but again, what is more important to us is the family gathering, right? So we can see the cousins or other family members that we haven't seen in so long time. Okay, so sometimes we have the visit of people, our family members from Miami or other part of the country, of the world. I'm sorry, and this is a very happy celebration for Cubans.
Great, and so who cooks all this food? Because there's so many diversity. There is a lot of cutting and boiling and roasting.
Okay, listen, Paulino. Listen, I'm sorry to tell you this, but men, they have a responsibility, and women, they have other responsibilities. So mainly, women are cooking, okay? So men are, working or handing the roast pork and drinking beer. They're not doing so much or not helping the women, okay? But we have the grandmothers and the mothers and the aunts working in the kitchen, cooking, cutting, and preparing everything, okay?
Okay, so it's a whole family endeavor.
Yeah.
Everybody working together.
Yeah, okay.
Great. So these are all food related to New Year's Eve, and
we can have the same in Christmas time. Okay, so after a week of Christmas, we can have the same food.
Right, and it all also look very, very fresh, using a lot of fresh condiments. Yeah, so very much like the Turkish meals that Mary was sharing. Great. Well, thank you very much, Jose, for sharing all that food. I am getting hungry. I did not have much for lunch today, so now I think for dinner I'm gonna want to have something more substantial. Now, let me ask you, both of you. If you look back into the many celebrations you had in your life, either in your countries of origins or in the countries where you are living now, or you used to live or lived some years, what is the main dish that you remember that you connect with a celebration or a special time of the year? What do you think? And this question is not only for Jose and Mary, but for everyone watching this show and this video. Think about it, because we spend a good amount of our lives cooking and eating or buying food. I have to confess that I'm not much of a cook, so buying food. But getting together with people and sharing a meal, it's a very special opportunity, and it brings a lot of memories of different times of the year or celebrations. So I put it out to all of you out there, but now that I have Jose and Mary here, I would like to hear, what do you remember?
I think for me, the food that I look at is a celebration, and I want to make a comparison to something that Jose mentioned earlier. But for me, anytime that I eat lamb is a celebration, because I think back on those wonderful memories of turkey, going to someone's house, they slaughter the lamb, and they roast it over a spit, like you're showing with the Puerco Asado. And it just bringing that extra effort. I know how much effort and hours it took to cook that wonderful dish of lamb. And I cannot explain how large the platters of food were as we sat down with the family. And I thought, well, there's no way we could eat this. But we did, because we ate dinner over a period of hours. We talked, we drank. beer, or in Turkey it is rakia or anything, the celebration. But anytime I bring lamb home to the house and I cook something for my husband, myself, or for friends, that's a celebration. And it's just that one food that I always center on. So
Great, thank you for sharing.
I always link celebration with desserts.
mm-hmm.
Okay? Yes. Everything, a celebration for me has to be sweet. Okay? I always remember.
has to end in a sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I always remember my mother preparing some desserts for celebrations. Okay? And this is the memory I have. And now in my family, my wife, Monica, she prepares very delicious desserts, okay? And this is the connection that I have with celebrations, okay? I need to have something sweet after the meal or celebration after dance or after drinking, okay? I think that what really sometimes connects people is eating that dessert together, okay? And to have a conversation over that dessert, okay? I think it's a good chance and a good opportunity to connect with your family members and with the people you love.
That's true. And I think also a dessert offers closure to a meal.
Yeah.
It brings the last of the meal together. It's that last bit you share with coffee or some fruit and cheese, and sitting over that wonderful dessert. And I am a queen of desserts as well. I love to make desserts for my friends and family. So I cook for my colleagues quite a bit too.
In the case of Argentina, Paulino and Mary, I love facturas, okay? So maybe Paulino can explain a little bit better about facturas. Factura is pastries, right?
Mm-hmm.
With different fillings, and it's, for me, so nice to drink mate, that is a very popular drink here with facturas, and I always link this with happiness. I don't know why, okay? To drink mate and to eat some desserts in Argentina here is so wonderful.
So here we have an example of different type of facturas. It's kind of pastry, and they come in a variety of shapes and forms, and some have some kind of cream. So I think we have some kind of cream there, or some kind of sweets. Sometimes they are inside, they have dulce de leche, which is kind of a caramel in Argentina, a little thicker. But it comes in all kinds of shapes and forms, some more sweeter than others. And they are good for accompanied, especially in Argentina, when you have mate every time of the day. Yes, I love my facturas as well. I remember them.
Do you make facturas, Paulina?
You know, I would say, I don't know, I think it's a little of a strong verb to say I miss them, I can't live without them. I mean, I can. There are other things that I can't. But dulce de leche is something that I used to have more often, and I don't have quite as often here in the United States. But that's okay. I have other things as well. Jose and Mary, I want to thank you very much for joining me and sharing your love for food and celebrations. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This is going to be the last Educators Performance Creator Show of the year. I have more planned for next year, so if you want to epcshow.com, I'm still working on the website, but be patient with me. But I will be announcing more artists and other educators and creators that I will be interviewing or sharing some time with in the 2016, in the new year. So, Jose and Mary, thank you very much one more time.
Muchísimas gracias, y gracias por todo que hace tú.
De nada, muchas gracias a ti. Gracias, José.
No, muchas gracias a Mary, muchas gracias a ti, Paulino, por esta oportunidad que tú siempre me das. Yo siempre agradezco mucho que me invites. Gracias por la confianza.
De nada. Muy bien. Thank you, everyone. And we are in the beginning of a wonderful season of lot of celebrations in many parts of the world. So I hope that everyone is able in some way or form to celebrate whatever you want to celebrate with a little bit of food and share life with people around us. Have a wonderful holiday season. Take care.
Adiós.
Take care.
Adiós.
Adiós. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.